Welcome to the channel and thank you for tuning into this video. I am so glad to have you here with us at Soul Ascendancy. As we embark on this journey of self-exploration together, I invite you to open your heart and mind and truly engage with the deeper truths that lie within. This is a space where we connect, reflect, and seek the wisdom that transcends the limitations of our everyday lives. If you resonate with the message today, don't forget to leave a comment with the word, and please subscribe to the channel to stay connected with our shared path toward enlightenment. There is a profound truth within ancient scriptures that speaks to the heart of the journey we are all on, a journey of awakening and return to the divine. It is written that you are the light of the world, Matthew chapter 5, verse 14. A reminder that within each of us resides the spark of divinity, the essence of truth that cannot be extinguished. Just as the light of a single candle has the power to illuminate an entire room, so too does our divine nature have the ability to illuminate the darkness of ignorance within us and around us. This light, however, can be hidden beneath layers of illusion, much like a city on a hill that cannot be hidden. The journey of self-realization, of peeling away these layers, is a return to this light, the recognition that we are not separate from the divine, but a reflection of it. As we awaken, we begin to understand that this light shines through us and connects us to all things. In this way, our true nature becomes a beacon, guiding us back to the source, back to love, peace, and the divine truth that resides at the core of our being. The human experience is often described as a journey, a process of self-discovery and exploration. It's a quest that seeks to uncover the mysteries of our existence, to delve into the depths of our consciousness, and to grasp the truth of who we are at the core. This journey is not confined to a specific time or culture. It is universal, stretching across centuries, philosophies, and traditions. It has been at the very heart of human curiosity and effort for as long as we have been able to question the nature of our reality. Each of us, in our own way, embarks on this path, driven by the desire to understand more deeply the essence of who we truly are. Your understanding of this truth is the basis for the comprehensive understanding that life to be full of purpose and power. In our pursuit of truth, we find that the most essential step is to recognize our true nature, divine, eternal, and unchanging. This realization is not just an intellectual exercise, it is a transformation of our consciousness. It is an awakening that goes beyond surface-level understanding, touching upon something more profound. Beneath the layers of illusion and ignorance, there exists a core of truth that is not subject to time or change, an essence that connects us to the very source of existence. This core of our being is constant, even as the world around us shifts and changes. This recognition is not confined to any one spiritual tradition. It is a concept that has been explored and understood in various forms across different cultures and religions. Whether we look at the teachings of Vedanta, the wisdom of Buddhism, or the contemplative practices of Christianity, we find a common thread, a universal understanding that we are all, at our core, united with the divine. This realization is a deep and profound one, a revelation that can only be experienced directly, and it transforms the way we perceive the world around us. The journey of self-discovery is often likened to navigating a labyrinth. It is not a straight path, but rather a winding, cyclical process filled with both moments of clarity and periods of doubt. As we walk this path, we encounter various challenges and obstacles, both external and internal. We face our fears, our insecurities, and the attachments that bind us to the material world. We must be willing to confront the shadows within ourselves, the illusions and beliefs that keep us from seeing the truth. It is through this confrontation, this process of inner transformation, that we begin to uncover the deeper layers of our being. At times, this process may feel uncomfortable. The truths we uncover may challenge our long-held beliefs and assumptions about who we are and what life is all about. But these moments of discomfort are an essential part of the alchemical process of transformation. True growth requires us to let go of the things that no longer serve us, to surrender our attachment to the ego and the need for control. This is not a resignation but a deep release, an act of aligning ourselves with forces greater than our individual understanding. Surrendering to this greater flow of the universe opens us to the possibility of true wisdom. It is only by letting go of our limited perception that we can begin to experience the depth of reality. This reality is not confined to what we see with our physical eyes, but extends far beyond that. It is a reality that is both humbling and awe-inspiring, a reality that reveals to us the interconnectedness of all things. As we continue our journey of self-discovery, we come to realize that there is always more to explore, more to understand, and more to experience. The depth of reality is infinite, and each step we take brings us closer to the heart of who we truly are. One of the greatest obstacles on this journey is the veil of ignorance that clouds our perception of reality. This veil is not simply a lack of knowledge, but a distortion in how we perceive the world. It is as if we are looking through foggy glasses, unable to see clearly the truth that lies before us. The veil of ignorance keeps us trapped in a state of unconsciousness, where we are unable to perceive the deeper truths of existence. It creates a false sense of separation, making us feel as if we are disconnected from the larger whole, isolated in our individual existence. This sense of separation is at the root of many of our struggles. It is what leads us to believe that our worth is based on external achievements, material possessions, and fleeting pleasures. We become fixated on the superficial aspects of life, chasing after things that ultimately do not satisfy the deeper yearnings of our soul. The veil of ignorance keeps us trapped in this cycle, preventing us from seeing the truth of who we really are and what life is truly about. The question we must ask ourselves is, how can we lift this veil? How can we move beyond the fog of ignorance and see the truth of reality? There are many ways to begin this process, but the most powerful and direct method is through self-reflection. When we take the time to look within, to observe our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, we begin to uncover the layers of conditioning and illusion that have built up over time. This process of introspection allows us to see through the veil and recognize the deeper truths that lie beneath. It is only by confronting the false identities and attachments we have built around ourselves that we can begin to remember our true nature. In addition to self-reflection, cultivating virtues such as kindness, compassion, and patience can help to dissipate the clouds of ignorance. When we act from a place of love and understanding, we align ourselves with the higher forces of the universe, which, in turn, helps to lift the veil and reveal the interconnectedness of all beings. Our actions, when guided by virtue, create ripples that help to clear the fog, allowing us to see more clearly the divine presence that is always with us. Meditation and mindfulness are also powerful tools for dispelling the clouds of ignorance. These practices help to calm the mind and quiet the noise of our thoughts, allowing us to experience moments of stillness and clarity. In these moments, we can see beyond the veil, perceiving the higher reality with greater understanding. By cultivating a regular practice of meditation, we begin to dissolve the illusions that keep us trapped in a limited perception of reality. The nature of ignorance is a profound mystery. We may never fully understand why it exists or where it comes from, but what we do know is that it can be dissolved in the presence of knowledge. Just as darkness disappears when light is introduced, ignorance fades away when we allow ourselves to embrace the deeper truths that are always available to us. The key is to look within, to seek understanding, and to cultivate the virtues that align us with the flow of the universe. Only then can we begin to lift the veil and experience the radiant truth that lies beyond. As we continue on this path of self-discovery and awakening, we come to realize that ignorance is not merely a passive absence of knowledge, but an active force that distorts our perception of the world and ourselves. This distortion shapes everything we experience, causing us to see ourselves as separate, isolated, and limited by the constructs of time, space, and causality. It is this false perception that makes us believe we are defined by our physical bodies, our emotions, and our thoughts. We become so attached to these transient elements of our existence that we forget the unchanging essence that lies beneath it all, the core of our being that is pure consciousness. When we perceive the world through the veil of ignorance, we are like an audience watching a movie, lost in the story being told, unaware that the movie itself is just a reflection on the screen. We forget that behind the constant flow of images, the true reality, the unchanging essence, remains still and untouched. It is this essence, this substratum of existence, that gives everything its reality, yet we are blind to it because of the distorted lens through which we view the world. We have identified ourselves with the body, the mind, and the ego, creating an illusion of separateness, of limitation, and of suffering. We become trapped in cycles of fear, desire, and attachment, believing that we are the sum of these temporary experiences. But in reality, none of this alters our true nature, which remains constant, eternal, and beyond the reach of time and change. Our mistaken identification with the body and mind leads to suffering. We fear illness, old age, and death because we see ourselves as these physical bodies that are subject to decay. We identify with the ego, and as a result we experience anger, jealousy, and pride, constantly battling with the external world and with ourselves. But the truth is, none of these fluctuations in the body or the mind can touch our true essence. Our divine nature remains untouched by the dramas we create in the world of appearances. The more we identify with these transient aspects of ourselves, the more we remain imprisoned in the illusion of separateness. And the more we cling to the ego, the more we experience the suffering that comes with it. As we walk this path of awakening, we must remember that every soul is on its own journey. Just as we are all in different stages of evolution, so too is everyone around us. Each person's path is unique, and it is not for us to judge or compare. If you believe someone is suffering because of their ignorance, I urge you to reflect on this. The pain you feel in seeing another suffering is a reflection of your own attachment to the illusion of separation. In the end, the universe is a mirror, and everything we observe externally is simply a reflection of our inner state. When we feel pain or discomfort in the presence of others' suffering, we must ask ourselves, what am I holding inside of me that brings up this pain? What beliefs or attachments are fueling this reaction? The key is to turn the awareness inward and address the core issue that resides within us. In our quest for self-realization, it is crucial that we cultivate compassion and understanding for others, recognizing that each person is evolving at their own pace. Just as we wouldn't expect a young child to understand complex algebra, we must accept that everyone is on their own timeline of spiritual awakening. Some souls are still deeply immersed in the material world, while others are beginning to feel the stirrings of a higher calling. Neither path is better or worse than the other. It is simply where each soul finds itself in the process of its evolution. Our role is not to judge, but to love and support each individual as they move through their own unique journey. Just because someone appears to be living in ignorance, it does not mean they are spiritually behind us. In fact, the person who seems lost or misguided may very well be farther along the path than we realize. We cannot always see the full picture, and our judgments may be clouded by our own ego. It is important to remember that spiritual growth is not a race, and there is no ultimate destination. Each soul is unfolding in its own way, and sometimes the very things that seem to be obstacles to our perception of truth are actually part of the soul's deeper process of growth. So, if you find yourself feeling frustrated or sorrowful about the state of the world, remember this: the universe is unfolding as it should. Each soul is experiencing exactly what it needs to experience in order to evolve and awaken in its own time. Our role is to focus on our own path, to continue our own journey of self-discovery, and to remain compassionate toward those around us, recognizing that they too are on their own journey. When we begin to look at the world through the lens of compassion and understanding, we begin to dissolve the clouds of ignorance within ourselves. These clouds, like the dense fog that obscures the sun, can be dispelled through meditation, self-reflection, and the cultivation of virtuous qualities. As we begin to turn inward and connect with our true essence, we notice that the distractions of the external world begin to lose their power over us. The greed, selfishness, anger, and ambition that once seemed so important begin to fade away, and in their place, we experience a sense of inner peace, contentment, and clarity. This process is not about renouncing the world, but rather about recognizing the deeper reality behind it. As we purify our minds and hearts, we begin to experience the truth of who we really are. The clouds of ignorance dissipate, and we begin to see the sun of our true nature shining through. This is not a distant or abstract concept. It is a reality that is with us always, waiting for us to recognize it. By practicing truthfulness, purity, contentment, and patience, we create the mental and emotional space for this divine light to shine through. These qualities help us to align ourselves with the higher reality, the source of all wisdom, love, and consciousness. The journey to dispel ignorance is a journey of awakening to the realization that we are not separate from the divine, but an integral part of it. It is an awakening to the recognition that the higher reality is not outside of us, but within us, the very essence of our being. By turning inward, we can touch this source, recognizing that it is the foundation of our existence. And as we continue to walk this path, we become more and more aligned with our true nature, and the veil of ignorance begins to dissolve. One of the most crucial aspects of this journey is the practice of letting go. Letting go does not mean retreating from the world or abandoning our responsibilities. Rather, it means releasing our attachment to the fleeting, material aspects of life. It means letting go of our desires, our need for control, and our attachment to things that do not bring lasting fulfillment. Letting go creates space for a deeper connection with the eternal, unchanging reality that is always with us. It invites us to look within for the happiness and fulfillment that we so often seek in the external world. As we let go of our attachment to the temporary and the transient, we create the conditions for true happiness and lasting peace. The more we release our attachment to the world of forms, the more we become aware of the deeper, unchanging reality that lies behind it. This is the true source of our fulfillment, the wellspring of love, wisdom, and peace that resides within us. Thank you for joining me on this journey of self-discovery. If this video resonated with you, I invite you to leave a comment below, share your thoughts and reflections, and let me know how this message has impacted you. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and share this video with others who may benefit from it. May we all continue to walk this path of awakening, shedding the veil of ignorance, and embracing the truth of who we really are. As we continue to explore the depths of reality and the nature of ignorance, we must recognize that this journey of self-discovery is not something that happens overnight. It is a slow, often challenging process of peeling away the layers of illusion that have accumulated over time. Each layer representing an attachment, a fear, or a belief that has kept us from seeing the world as it truly is. These illusions are not just abstract concepts. They are the very fabric of our day-to-day experience, shaping how we perceive ourselves, others, and the world around us. But as we begin to question these beliefs and open ourselves to the possibility of a deeper truth, the path toward awakening becomes clearer, even though it may still be veiled in uncertainty at times. We live in a world that is constantly in motion, where everything seems to change in the blink of an eye. Our bodies age, our emotions fluctuate, and our thoughts constantly shift. It's easy to become lost in this ever-changing stream of experiences, and to forget that there is something constant, something eternal beneath it all. This constant essence, the deeper reality that connects us all, is often hidden from our view, not because it is absent, but because we are too absorbed in the surface-level changes of life to recognize its presence. It's like looking at the surface of the ocean and thinking that's all there is, not realizing that beneath the waves lies a vast, unchanging depth. This is the role of ignorance in our lives. It creates the illusion that what we see on the surface is all that exists. It keeps us distracted by the ephemeral, by the temporary things that we believe will bring us happiness and fulfillment. We chase after material possessions, seek approval from others, and grasp at fleeting pleasures, all the while overlooking the deeper, unchanging source of peace and joy that lies within us. The veil of ignorance prevents us from seeing that the true nature of life is not bound by time or space, nor by the shifting circumstances of the external world. It is eternal, pure, and unchanging, and it is within us all. In this sense, the journey of awakening is not one of acquiring new knowledge, but of remembering what we have always known. It is the process of clearing away the clouds of illusion that obscure our vision, allowing us to see the radiant truth that has been present all along. We don't need to go somewhere or find something outside of ourselves. We need only to look within, to strip away the layers of conditioning and false identities that have accumulated over time, and to reconnect with the essence of who we really are. This journey is often long and difficult. It requires us to confront the parts of ourselves that we would rather ignore, the fears and doubts that hold us back from realizing our true potential. It calls us to let go of the need to control, to surrender our attachment to the things of this world that we believe define us. But as we move through this process, we begin to experience moments of clarity, moments when the fog begins to lift and we can catch a glimpse of the truth that lies beneath. These moments, though fleeting, are profound, and they serve as reminders that the deeper reality is always there, just beyond the veil of ignorance. One of the most powerful tools for removing this veil is self-reflection. By turning inward and examining our thoughts, our beliefs, and our reactions, we begin to uncover the patterns of ignorance that shape our perception of reality. We start to see how our attachments to the body, the mind, and the ego have distorted our understanding of who we are and what the world is. This process of self-inquiry can be uncomfortable, as it often brings up emotions and thoughts that we have been avoiding. But it is through this discomfort that transformation happens. By facing the truths that lie hidden within us, we are able to dissolve the illusions that keep us trapped in a limited, false perception of ourselves and the world. In addition to self-reflection, we must also cultivate virtues such as compassion, kindness, patience, and humility. These qualities are the antidote to the ego, and they help to dissolve the clouds of ignorance that obscure the truth. When we act from a place of love and compassion, we begin to see the interconnectedness of all beings and the unity that exists beneath the surface of our perceived separateness. We recognize that we are all on the same journey, each of us navigating our own path toward awakening. And as we see others through this lens of compassion, we stop judging them and instead offer them love and understanding, knowing that their journey is just as valid and important as ours. Meditation is a profoundly transformative practice that serves as one of the most powerful tools for dispelling ignorance. In our everyday lives, our minds are constantly filled with thoughts, memories, worries, desires, and distractions that pull our attention in countless directions. This mental noise creates a barrier between us and our true essence. Meditation, on the other hand, provides a sacred space in which we intentionally quiet the mind, allowing it to settle into a state of stillness. In this quietude, the usual chatter that occupies our mental space begins to fade, and we become more deeply attuned to the present moment. In these moments of stillness, something remarkable happens. We begin to experience an inner peace that is not contingent on external circumstances. This peace is not dependent on what is happening in the world around us, nor is it influenced by our emotions or external events. It is a deeper sense of calm, a stillness that exists beneath the surface of our thoughts and emotions, waiting for us to tap into it. When we meditate, we become aware of this unshakable peace, and it becomes more accessible with each session. As we continue to meditate, we start to recognize that this inner peace is not just a temporary experience, but a fundamental aspect of our true nature. We begin to sense a higher reality beyond the fluctuations of the mind. This higher reality, often referred to as the divine essence, or the source of our consciousness, is always present, but it is usually obscured by the noise of our thoughts and the distractions of the world. In meditation, we create the conditions necessary for this divine essence to reveal itself. We learn to see beyond the surface-level distractions and connect with the deeper truth that lies within us all. The more we practice meditation, the more we become attuned to this deeper truth. Over time, we begin to see through the veil of ignorance that clouds our perception of reality. This veil, made up of our attachments, fears, and misconceptions, distorts the way we view ourselves and the world. But with each meditation session, we peel back another layer, and the truth becomes clearer. We start to realize that our true nature is not defined by our thoughts, emotions, or external circumstances, but by the timeless essence of consciousness that we are at our core. Meditation helps us to remember this truth, to reconnect with the divine presence within, and to align ourselves with the higher state of being that transcends the limitations of the physical world. As we continue on this journey of self-discovery and spiritual awakening, it's crucial to remember that this process is not linear. There is no straight path to enlightenment, no fixed timetable or set of steps that guarantees we will reach the final destination. Awakening is not a singular event, but rather a continuous unfolding of consciousness, where each moment brings us closer to the truth of who we are. We will experience highs and lows, moments of profound clarity and deep confusion. There will be times when the truth feels tangible, right at the tip of our fingers, and other times when it seems distant, slipping away like a dream that fades upon waking. This ebb and flow is part of the process. Just as the seasons change, our spiritual journey will pass through various phases, each with its own lessons and challenges. We may go through periods of doubt, when the path seems unclear, and we may question everything we've learned up until that point. It is in these moments of doubt that we are often confronted with our deepest fears and insecurities. But it is also in these moments that our growth accelerates. Just like the process of polishing a stone, the friction and pressure of doubt and uncertainty can remove the layers that have been covering the truth within us. The key is to trust the process. Trust that every experience, every challenge, and every moment of doubt is part of the greater unfolding of our awareness. We must remember that the universe does not make mistakes. Everything is happening exactly as it is meant to, even if it does not always make sense to our limited minds. Every step, no matter how difficult or confusing, is taking us closer to the truth. It's easy to become frustrated with the pace of our spiritual progress, especially when we compare ourselves to others or expect rapid results. We live in a world that values speed and efficiency, where we are often told that success must be immediate. But spiritual awakening is not a process that can be rushed. It is not something that can be forced or manipulated. Each of us is on our own unique journey, and the timing of our awakening is personal. What might take one person a year to understand could take another person 10 years or more. This is because the process is not about reaching a specific milestone, but about deepening our connection to the truth that lies within us. It is about shedding the layers of illusion and ego and coming to a place of pure awareness. Patience is a necessary companion on this journey. We must be gentle with ourselves, especially when the road feels long or the destination seems out of reach. Awakening is not about striving to be something we are not, but about realizing what we have always been. It is about letting go of the illusions that we have been conditioned to believe and embracing the truth that has been with us all along. We must also understand that no two journeys are alike. Just as no two people are the same, no two awakenings will unfold in the same way. What works for one person may not work for another, and what brings one person peace may not bring the same peace to someone else. It is important to honor our own path and trust that, in time, we will discover what we need to know when we are ready to receive it. In moments of doubt or frustration, remember that the process of awakening is not about perfection. It is about progress, Each step, each insight, each breakthrough, no matter how small, is part of the greater journey. Awakening is not a destination that can be reached through effort alone, but a natural unfolding that happens when we let go of our resistance and allow ourselves to be guided by the divine wisdom within us. At times, the path may seem unclear, and we may feel as though we are not making any progress. But just like a plant growing in the soil, we may not see the growth happening beneath the surface, yet it is occurring. And when the time is right, the shoot will break through the ground, and we will witness the fruits of our inner work. So, even in times of doubt, trust that the process is unfolding as it should, and that every experience, whether joyful or painful, is contributing to our growth. The journey of awakening is not one that can be rushed, nor should it be. Each moment is an opportunity for deeper self-awareness, for peeling back the layers of conditioning, and for coming into greater alignment with our higher selves. It's about the process of remembering who we truly are and embracing the divine essence that has always been present within us. It's about allowing our true light to shine through the fog of ignorance and recognizing that we are already whole and complete, just as we are. So, as you walk this path, be patient with yourself. Honor your own unique journey and trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. Every moment, every experience is part of the greater whole, and in the end, the truth will reveal itself to you, in its own time and in its own way. Just keep walking, and know that with every step, you are coming closer to the truth of who you are. The more we awaken to the truth of our divine nature, the more we begin to see the world in an entirely new light. The illusions that once obscured our perception of reality begin to dissolve, and we are granted the ability to see the interconnectedness of all things. This awakening allows us to perceive ourselves not as isolated, separate individuals, but as part of a greater, universal whole. We come to understand that everything in existence is intimately connected, and that the same essence, the same divine energy, flows through each and every one of us. This recognition is not merely an intellectual understanding, but a deep, experiential knowing that shifts our entire worldview. In this awakened state, we no longer see ourselves as individuals defined by the limitations of the body, the mind, or the ego. We are no longer constrained by the false identity of being merely a physical body or a collection of thoughts and emotions. Instead, we come to realize that our true nature is something much deeper and more expansive. We are, at our core, divine consciousness itself, eternal, infinite, and unchanging. This realization brings with it a profound sense of inner peace, as we recognize that we are not subject to the fluctuations of the external world, but instead, we are rooted in an unshakable essence that transcends all form. With this understanding, we also begin to recognize the divinity in everything around us. We no longer view the world and its inhabitants through the lens of separation and difference. We see that all beings, human, animal, plant, and even the inanimate objects around us, are expressions of the same divine energy. This recognition fosters a deep sense of compassion, as we begin to understand that the pain and suffering of others are not separate from our own. We are all connected, and the well-being of one is intertwined with the well-being of all. In this way, our awakening leads us to a deeper sense of responsibility for the world around us, as we recognize that our actions affect not only ourselves, but the entire web of existence. This shift in perspective brings with it a sense of fulfillment that cannot be found in the pursuit of material wealth, success, or external validation. As we come to know our true nature, we realize that the peace and contentment we have been searching for were never outside of us, but were always within. The sense of longing that once seemed insatiable begins to dissolve, as we recognize that we are already whole and complete, just as we are. This is not a state of complacency or passivity, but one of profound inner strength and clarity, where we are able to engage with the world from a place of deep knowing and equanimity. The more we embrace this truth, the more we understand that the purpose of our existence is not to accumulate, possessions, or achievements, but to realize and express the divinity that resides within us. This is the ultimate fulfillment, being in alignment with our true essence and expressing it in everything we do. It is the recognition that we are not separate from the source of all creation, but an integral part of it, co-creating the world around us with every thought, word, and action. This understanding transforms the way we approach life, and we begin to see every challenge, every encounter, and every moment as an opportunity to deepen our awareness and express our divinity. In this space of awakened awareness, we also realize that the pursuit of happiness, love, and success no longer holds the same power over us. These desires, once seen as external goals to be achieved, become internal qualities that we embody. Love, peace, and joy are not things to be acquired or attained. They are states of being that arise naturally when we align ourselves with our true essence. Happiness is no longer dependent on the external world or the circumstances of our lives, but emerges from the recognition that we are, at our core, already whole, already complete. This shift in perspective is liberating, as we are no longer slaves to the pursuit of external validation or material success. Instead, we are free to live authentically, expressing our true nature without fear or attachment to outcomes. As you reflect on this journey of awakening, I invite you to pause for a moment and consider the profound truth that has been shared. Awakening is not just a personal journey, but a collective one, and the more we embody the truth of who we are, the more we inspire others to do the same. As we walk this path together, we create a ripple effect that touches every corner of the world, awakening others to their divine nature and helping to shift the collective consciousness towards unity, love, and compassion. This journey is ongoing, unfolding at its own pace for each of us. There is no rush, no destination, only the continuous unfolding of the truth that is always present within us. Each step you take brings you closer to the realization that you are not separate from the divine, but one with it. Trust in the process, trust in yourself, and know that you are exactly where you need to be in this moment. If this message resonated with you and you feel it in your heart, I encourage you to share your thoughts and reflections in the comments below. I would love to hear from you and continue this conversation. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel, Soul Ascendancy, so you can join us on this journey of awakening and transformation. Together, we can create a world rooted in truth, love, and unity. Please, leave a comment with the word Amen to affirm your commitment to this path of awakening and to join the growing community of souls on this incredible journey. Your presence and energy are a vital part of this collective awakening, and I am deeply grateful to have you here. Ultimately, awakening to the truth of our divine nature is not just a personal journey, it is a collective one. As we awaken, we inspire others to awaken as well. Our very presence becomes a beacon of light, radiating the truth of our being to those around us. The more we embody our true nature, the more we contribute to the collective awakening of humanity. This process is not one that happens in isolation, but is evolving together. The more individuals awaken to their true nature, the more the collective consciousness shifts, and the more we move towards a world that is rooted in love, compassion, and unity. The journey of awakening is not always easy. It requires us to confront our deepest fears, our attachments, and the limiting beliefs that have shaped our lives. But it is through this process of confronting and transcending these limitations that we come to know the truth of who we are. Awakening is not a destination, but a continuous unfolding, a deepening into the truth of our divine nature. With each step, we move closer to the realization that we are not separate from the divine, but are, in fact, one with it. As we walk this path, we are called to embrace the world with love and compassion, to see the divinity in everyone and everything we encounter. We are invited to let go of the illusions of separation and to recognize that we are all part of the same divine source. In this recognition, we find peace, fulfillment, and a deep sense of purpose. And as we continue to awaken, we can be sure that the world around us will also begin to shift, as more and more individuals come to recognize their own divine nature and the interconnectedness of all life. This journey is not for the faint of heart, but for those who are willing to step into the unknown, to let go of the illusions that bind them, and to embrace the truth of who they truly are. It is a journey of courage, of faith, and of surrender. And as we walk this path, we will come to realize that the truth we seek is not something external, but something that lies within us, waiting to be discovered. When we awaken to this truth, we will see that the world we once perceived as separate and fragmented is actually a reflection of the divine unity that binds us all together. And in this recognition, we will find the peace and fulfillment we have always longed for. It is this truth, this recognition of our inherent divinity, that is the key to transcending ignorance. Once we have glimpsed this deeper reality, we cannot go back to the way we once were. We cannot unsee the truth that has been revealed to us. But this revelation is not something that we can grasp with the mind. It is something that must be experienced directly, through the heart. It is through the cultivation of love, compassion, and mindfulness that we come to know this truth, not as a concept, but as a lived reality. As we move forward on this path, it is essential that we continue to share this truth with others. We are not on this journey alone, and our awakening is not complete until we help others awaken as well. This is why it is so important to share these teachings, to spread the light of truth to others, so that they too can begin to see beyond the veil of ignorance. The more we share, the more we create a collective consciousness of awakening, a shared understanding that we are all divine beings, interconnected and united in the truth of our existence. So, I invite you, if this message has resonated with you, to share it with others, to leave a comment below, and to subscribe to the channel. Together, we can continue this journey of awakening, lifting the veil of ignorance and embracing the truth of who we really are. As we do so, we will find that the more we awaken, the more we are able to live in alignment with our true nature, and the more we experience peace, love, and fulfillment in every aspect of our lives. Thank you for walking this path with me. Please leave a comment saying Amen if this message touched your heart, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to Soul Ascendancy and join us as we continue on this journey of self-discovery and awakening.